So welcome back to our third part in this series in Santa Rita Ranch here in Liberty Hill. And this time we're going to do something different than just go into a bunch of homes and walk them and show you the features, even though we like to do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about all the different builders. Did you know that there are 12 different builders with tons of different options, tons of different lot sizes? And so there's so many to choose from that we felt that it's more than just knowing the square footage you're looking for, the beds and bath you're looking for. It's about the different quality in the builders, what they have to offer. And maybe let's talk more about the neighborhood, because again, you're not just buying square footage, you're buying into the neighborhood. So let's get up and let's take a walk and see what we're going to look at here in Santa Rita Ranch.
Yeah, so come on guys, let's go and explore the neighborhood. So as Jaime mentioned, there are 12 different builders here. We're going to get a feel of the different quality of builders, craftsmanship, and you're really going to be able to tell the difference of what they're able to offer to each buyer, because not every buyer is the same, right? So we want to find something that's going to be really more what you're looking for. The first stop we're going to make here is Highland Homes. What do we know about Highland Homes, Jaime?
Well, I think Highland is definitely one of the higher end builders, more luxury, bigger homes, the layout, the attention to detail a lot higher. More along the lines of Perry Homes.
Yeah, and here's a great example of what you can see on the difference. So we have one Highland home here that we're looking at, and this one is going to be starting in the 300s. It may not be this particular model, but there are Highland homes that do start at 300. You can see how it's a 2-story, you've got a 3-car garage, and then you have a little bit more luxury Highland home here on your left. You can tell in the beams, it's got the different type of beams available there. And also it's got the 2-car garage. And take a look at those shutters. And let's talk about the brick. We don't see a lot of siding here. This is a brick home.
Yeah, I think that's one of the keys is when you're looking at this price point here is the difference in siding versus more masonry. So masonry is going to be higher end. You're going to see stucco, you're going to be stone, you're going to see brick. And you've got two different varieties of homes within the same builder. So sometimes you're like, oh, well, you know, Highland, it's too expensive. Well, again, you can have the higher end Highland, and then you can still have the same Highland name and quality, but maybe at a more affordable price point. So that's one of the things that we noticed here in the neighborhood is there, even within the luxury, side, you've still got a little price break with the different styles that they make.
Definitely. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next home that we have here. The builder is going to be Taylor Morrison. So you can see how they have a little bit of a different style. They also have the help me with
stucco.
The stucco. Thank you, Jaime. It's got the stucco on the sides, and you see how it's got this grand entrance as well to go in, and the additional windows right above the door is a great feature. They also have these picturesque windows at Taylor Morrison.
Yeah, I think Taylor Morrison kind of, again, they had gone away for a while and come back, and they're really trying to meet a really good price point in where they're doing very nice higher end homes, but still trying to be just under the top of the market like some of the other builders we've just talked about. So there's different styles, there's different square footages, there's different builds and layout.
Yes.
And again, not every house, just because it's 3,000 square foot, let's talk about that for a second. Just because a house is 2,500 square feet, 3,000 square feet, they don't feel the same. We've walked into many homes throughout our years of doing this. Let's talk about how each builder utilizes their space differently.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I have walked into a home where maybe it's 1,500 square feet, and I'm like, wow, this feels so big. What makes it feel big? The open space, the windows, the light that's coming in. All of that definitely helps to make that space so much bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I was saying then how they use it. Like sometimes I walked into one and it had this unnecessary closet because it was a dead space that they just didn't know what to do with, and it was just weird. It was in the back of the house, and it was like it wasn't big enough to make it a bedroom or an office, and so they use it as a closet. So every builder definitely decides on how they want to use the space, but sometimes 2,500 square feet can feel like 3,000.
Yeah.
And sometimes 2,500 square feet can feel like 1,500 if it's not used right.
And going about that, but talking about closets, one thing I will say that a lot of new builders are doing now is taking advantage of all of the space. For example, underneath your stairs. Underneath the stairs used to be just dead space. Nothing was there, unusable. Now you open it up and it's got this huge space that you can use as a closet, as a storage, as a place for your dogs to go.
Yeah, we saw that. Pets. We saw them build out to where it's got a little doggy den.
Yeah. So definitely they're taking advantage of all the space in the home, leaving nothing left to be, well, what am I going to do with this?
One other thing that we talk about when you're thinking about buying into a neighborhood or buying into a home or buying into a builder, look at how close or how far they are away from each other. Now, again, granted, the size of the lot does matter, right? When you're talking about some of the homes that we'll look at that are maybe a little bit smaller, a little bit more affordable, obviously to make that affordability factor, you have to be on a smaller lot. So you're going to be closer in, but maybe that doesn't matter to you, right? And maybe if you are more concerned about that, then you would buy a bigger lot. Also, are you doing a 1-story or are you doing a 2-story?
Yeah.
Because if you're doing a 1-story and it's 3,000 square feet, your backyard's going to feel smaller because the floor plan of the house, the concrete's eating up all the yard. And again, that's not a big problem. Let's say you're not a big outside person. Well, then who cares about having 15 feet of backyard? But let's say you have a family. Well, then you go to a 2-story, everything goes upstairs, and now you have this big yard. So now you can do a pool, or you can have the trampoline, or you can do whatever out there.
Yeah,
so
playscape.
Yeah. And again, look at the neighborhood, and that's what we're going to try to do. Is we're going to try to drive through and show you things like that, like the rocks, the stone, the brick, the landscaping, the space between each home. That's one of the things that Santa Rita, again, has a little bit of everything for everybody. 12 different builders, 12 different styles, hundreds of options and homes to choose from. I think this is
your options are limitless.
Yeah, really. It really is. It really is.
Even your price point.
Yeah. I know we talked earlier with a builder here and a sales associate, and he said, what is the type of person that's coming in here right now?
Yeah, he said that Jacob mentioned in this neighborhood, he is seeing first-time home buyers. He is also seeing people who already lived near the neighborhood who see how well the community is doing and they want to live here now and they need more space, so they're moving up.
Yeah, and we see the tech people moving in here. Now, going back to tech, I know they're very online, that a lot of people from out of state, they can see things through a picture, but I really, really tell you, get on a plane, set an appointment with us, let us come out here and show you, because there's things that we are going to show you in this video that you can't see online. You can't see the neighborhood. Remember, everything in Texas is bigger. You know, I love watching these YouTube videos with people from London coming over to Buc-ee's and calling them petrol stations, right? I'm like, oh my God, this is a petrol station, you know?
Or saying Busey's,
it's
Buc-ee's.
Yeah, but everything is bigger in Texas, and that's exactly what Santa Rita Ranch has. It's just bigger, but does it make it feel like it's too big? No. Does it make it feel like, oh man, like it's hard to get around? And that's what I want to show you in this part of the video of when we do the neighborhood tour. Everything's here, right? But it's big. I mean, they've, what he said, 4 different amenity centers, 5 different pools, parks. So you've got all this stuff. How does it feel to live here? That's what I want you to get a sense of. Like, if I lived here, is it crowded? Am I sitting in traffic all day long? You know? Or do I feel like I'm actually at a ranch, you know, where it's really peaceful? And I think that's the setting they really did well here at Santa Rita.
Oh, definitely. And again, going back to your options continue to be limitless depending on your budget, what you're looking for, the amenity centers, as Jaime mentioned. So as he said, we do encourage you to come, to feel it, to taste it, get a piece of what Texas really has to offer. And what better way to do that than with some local natives born and raised here. We're 3rd-generation Texans.
That's right. So let's get in the car. Let's go drive around the neighborhood and feature different spots of Santa Rita.
Let's go.
So I think this is a nicer section of Santa Rita. You can kind of notice the larger homes, the bigger footprint of the larger lots. You know, these are probably 65-foot lots.
They even look at the view they get a little bit further. See it.
Yeah. Can't zoom in.
You feel like you're in the hill country.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the one thing about Liberty Hill is you are kind of getting into the hill country. Some of these homes that are on hills, they have a beautiful view. Again, I love the size of the lots. If you look at the lot size here, you know, and this goes back to resale. So why would somebody buy a resale versus a brand new home? Well, let's say you want to buy into this neighborhood, but they don't have the 65-foot lots anymore. Well, then you can buy a resale, and you can buy one of these that has that gives you that larger lot size. I mean, some of these are 1 stories. I would imagine some of these are probably 4,000 square feet homes. You know, they're massive. And then again, how does the neighborhood feel, right? You're look at the schools. They're new. They're modern.
Huge.
They're very, very nice. That matters because what I might like might not be what you like, right? Like I might want something a little bit more classic or modern. Like I would say like the modern, like this kind of grandeur. And you might be like, look, I like that country feel. The Coventry home we went into versus the Perry, feel like I'm probably a little bit more Perry. Somebody else might be a little bit more Coventry where they kind of like that. Oh wow, this felt, you know, very manly, very or woodsy, the ranch style, right? I'm not a ranch style guy. So I think having the amount of builders out here. So this was the Rosetta side of Santa Rita Ranch, and that's what I meant. Like all these neighborhoods, they all have a little name, a theme, so they're all built differently. We go from massive homes, right, high end, to now there's Bellissima, where you're going to have a little bit more of the affordable homes, the smaller footprint, the 35-foot lots. You can kind of see the style homes. Again, they're still rock, they're stone, they're very nice, they've got good spacing in between the homes, but they're more affordable. One of the things you look at, if you look at the doors tell that, like for instance, I'll pull this way over here. So you've got 8-foot doors here, right? That's typically a telltale sign of a different builder, a little bit higher end builder, maybe something like Highland or Perry or David Weekley. And then you've got the normal, right, 6-foot doors. And that's maybe a Pulte or the more affordable Chesmar homes or one of the other builders that build out here. An Meritage or you know, something like that.
You can choose a neighborhood and choose a builder.
Mm-hmm. And what happens is when you have these communities, builders get a allotted amount of lots, right? So like Chesmar was telling us, hey, we stopped having our model home because we had sold out of our lots that we were allotted. And then as we acquired more, well, now we're able to sell more. And what they've chosen is when somebody's developing a neighborhood like this, they're saying, hey, not everybody here needs to be on a 50-foot or 65-foot massive lot, right? Let's build so where families can come in and still benefit from the beautiful amenities that Santa Rita has to offer, but not necessarily want to pay or can pay the $600,000, $700,000 price point. So they built a $300,000 home, and you get to still have all the amenities that the $700,000 house gets, right? Just a smaller footprint. Again, your lot's typically smaller. You might not get the 8-foot doors. You get the 6-foot doors. But if you look at everything, the HOA keeps everything clean, everything nice, and that's great for resale. Because let's say one day you do need to sell the home. You do need to move. This is going to be a neighborhood that's going to always hold value. Even in a market that's down, they've got equity. Those who started in 2000, I mean, what did he say? Perry was starting at $300,000 in 2014, and now we're at $600,000. So you tell me if they have equity, you know. And I know, you know, we had this conversation. Some people are like, well, you know, I would never, you know, give up that 2.99. Well, guess what? Let's say you got a job offer in, you know, in Maryland. It doesn't matter. Now you've got equity you can sell. You're going to go move over there. Yeah, and that's why, you know, they're like, this is Encino, right? So again, you're going to find a little bit nicer, and this is where they're still building. You've got Toll Brothers building in here. And now a little backstory about Toll Brothers. Toll Brothers started as custom home builders, and then they got into the building for the masses, or we called, you know, box builders. Here's Scott Felder right here. We also seen Toll Brothers do some very affordable homes too, which was surprising. So that's what I mean. You see, every lot has a different builder because the builders were allotted all these lots. So they buy the lots from the developer, and then they're able to build their home on there, whether it be a to-be built or an inventory. Again, we're in the section where it's going to be the higher end, the nicest of the homes. 3-car garage, bigger lots. Let's check out this beautiful cul-de-sac here. So you've got Perry, Highland.
How many?
Well, one of the things that we were told by one of the builders is that they're going to have, Ronald Reagan is the main stretch of highway, or, you know, to get out here, 183. And so for safety reasons, and again, this, I will give credit where credit is due to Williamson County, that they think ahead. They really do think ahead, and they're building infrastructure. So they're putting tunnels underneath Ronald Reagan to connect neighborhoods. That way, people don't have to, you know, try to run across the street of a major highway. They can now walk. They can take their golf carts. They can do, you know. So again, a whole infrastructure thinking about these neighborhoods and families and what's best for them. Yeah, I think that's really, really kind of forward thinking. So we can see here, more land, more development, more lots. Santa Rita Ranch is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. So what'd you think? We took a nice tour of Santa Rita Ranch. We looked at the different builders. We looked at the different amenities. Any thoughts so far on Santa Rita?
I personally love the options. 12 different builders to choose from, multiple different layouts and price points. And I mean, really, check out this community. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think that's the key. And everybody we've talked to here has said the same thing. The amenities, the options, the choices. Again, we're on part 2 of Builders Row, and we have 12 builders. Let's see if I can remember some of them. So we have Scott Felder, we have Pulte, we have Castle Rock, we have Toll Brothers,
Weston.
we have Weston, Coventry, we have David Weekley, Chesmar,
Highland,
Perry, and
Toll Brothers.
No, we got all those.
You said Toll Brothers?
Yeah, I said Toll Brothers. Well, there's 12, so anyway, there's lots to choose from. So I think what this video should help you do is to understand that, would you want to come out here on your own and try to figure out 12 different builders, 12 different options you can choose from, what works best for you? Who knows how many countless sections in this neighborhood? No. So reach out to us. Let us be your experienced realtor, your team that's going to guide you into what is the right home, whether it's here in Santa Rita Ranch, North Austin, South Austin, and follow us and keep looking at waiting for more. We have more content. Every month we're going to shoot more and more videos for you guys with different neighborhoods, different locations, different communities. Maybe there's something you'd like us to see. Why don't you comment? Tell us what neighborhood. Maybe we have that coming up. But in the end, there's choices. And now we get to choose food. This is the one request that I get the most. Let's see some food out here next to Santa Rita Ranch here in Liberty Hill. So stay tuned. Next part, we're gonna get to do the good stuff and eat.
Ready to eat.